Motherfucker.
Hey, it's Miles for the Godless Nerds podcast. I want to first say that this is take two because I'm a dumbass and forgot to switch my speaker settings. It turns out that Skype only likes to record podcasts if the audio is set to your headphones on your computer, not just on Skype, because I guess the sound card doesn't hear your Skype conversation unless it's in your headphones by default. I don't know why it fucking does it. It just does. It's horrible, and we're just going to skip a few segments, mostly wrestling, but we're still going to get to all the topics we can. Maybe we'll be a little bit quicker, a little more organized this time, since we did a rehearsal. That's what that was. An hour and 40-minute fucking rehearsal. Oh my god. How was your week?
Basically, for the past 2 weeks, I've been having to watch my nephew.
And I've had to watch my nephew for a week, which is why I barely caught up with the news this week, but we talked about a few things. I think I'll be actually a little bit more prepared than we were before. And for some reason, I'm talking a lot faster, too. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just, like, fucking in panic. I can't believe I have to do this shit again mode, but whatever works, works.
Yeah, oh well. Fuck it.
Anyway, I guess we're going to get into politics first. Donald Trump said some more dumb shit when we went off the air. Some of it I put on the show notes that says Obama and Hillary literally founded ISIS, I think. And he doubled down on it on a radio interview afterwards, by the way, where he said, no, I literally mean Obama founded ISIS. And later he claimed sarcasm, but I think it was just a dumb joke that he was just trying to get complicity off of. What do you think?
Well, knowing Trump, he probably means it, but if it was going from a rational person, I'd say it was hyperbole because, well, Obama and Hillary didn't necessarily create ISIS. They did make ISIS what it is today by providing funding, training, and weapons to a lot of the Syrian rebels that turned around and joined ISIS.
And Obama's drone program also created a lot of terrorists, especially when they killed civilians in the process of that war.
Yeah, Obama is basically the only fucking Nobel Peace Prize winner to bomb another Nobel Peace Prize winner.
I'm sure that's probably not true, but... Oh, bomb another Nobel Peace Prize winner? What? Did I hear you right?
Yeah, Obama at one point in time bombed a hospital that Doctors Without Borders was operating at.
Ah, damn, you're right.
Yeah, so he's basically the only Nobel Peace Prize winner to bomb another Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Well, to be fair, the prize is named after the man who created dynamite.
True.
Though, obviously we're not a completely right-wing radio, at least I'm not, because George W. Bush's war in Iraq obviously caused the big vacuum of power in the Middle East, especially in Iraq, obviously, which caused the initial ISIS taking over large parts of Iraq and then expanding in Syria as well. And yes, we pulled out under Obama's administration, but that was a plan already had by George W. Bush. Obama was just following through on it. Maybe he could have pushed it back longer. Maybe, I don't know how that shit works. But it is what it is, and it's a shithole over there right now. And it's only getting worse.
Yeah, because right now, shit, it looks like World War III could potentially break out. I mean, during the rehearsal, we did mention how we mentioned this constantly, but it's getting close by the looks of it because fucking now Russia and China are helping Assad, the leader of Syria, fight back against the refugees who are U.S. backed.
Yeah. Yep, it's looking like a at the very least, it's sort of like Vietnam, where it's a proxy war, kind of, where though we're fighting in this country, the real enemy is China and Russia and communism as a whole. What year are we in again?
I don't know.
At first I thought it was the 90s, now I think it's the 80s. And
It's like we're going
60s.
backwards.
Oh, or going back in time, but not in the fun Back to the Future way. With the awkward, though admittingly there's less awkward implications of incestual attraction. Like in Back to the Future, but still.
Fucking Trump.
Oh, there is incestual stuff here too. So it is like Back to the Future.
Oh, I thought you were saying there was less in Back to the Future.
No, remember the mother wanted to fuck Marty.
I know.
There's still less, but there's still quite a bit where it's comparable.
Yeah. I mean, you got Trump wanting to bang his daughter. I don't know if there's anything going on with the Democrats or any other parties, but there's definitely Trump wanting to bang his daughter.
Yep. Which the Daily Show wants to remind us of every time. Speaking of the Daily Show, the nightly show was recently canceled, unfortunately. I thought it was a pretty good show for what it was. It wasn't as funny as Colbert Report or The Daily Show, but they had some good segments. They talked about Black Lives Matter a lot. They talked about the Flint water crisis when it was first happening a lot, and stuff like that. It was, and Larry did what he could. He got to be at two White House correspondents' dinners and stuff like that. So he didn't fail, but ultimately he didn't get enough ratings. I think he only had like 700K by the end of it, and no social media buzz, because that's apparently important now. So he was taken off the air.
Well, social media is basically how you attract viewers at this point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No one really watches previews or commercials anymore.
True.
I mean, since the invention of DVR, the only time I ever see advertisements is on YouTube.
Yeah. I have a DVR on my TV, but I'm too lazy to record, and I don't know how to access the recordings because TiVo's a piece of shit, apparently. So I just watch on demand, and on demand, it forces you to watch the advertisements. It's worse than regular TV because you can't even change the channel. It's fucking insidious. But another reason I brought the nightly show issue is because I kind of worry that some other late night shows could have their numbers. I don't know what kind of numbers, but they have them. Now, what I mean is their days could be numbered. I don't think Comedy Central would ever cancel the Daily Show, but Trevor Noah's show, though, I like it overall. He doesn't have as much name recognition as Jon Stewart, and thus has about half the audience Jon Stewart did so far.
Yeah.
And Colbert, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't agree with Trevor Noah on a lot of shit when it comes to politics, but from the clips that I've seen of him on the Daily Show, he's not a bad fit for it.
Yeah. He's not. He's a South African comedian, and no one really heard of him. People were expecting John Oliver to take over, but he's too busy printing money on HBO.
Yeah, John Oliver. I wonder who gets paid more, John Oliver or Jon Stewart at this point.
Jon Stewart probably made more money. I don't know, though, for sure.
I don't know. With Oliver being on HBO, I'm pretty sure they pay quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Probably do. They get that Game of Thrones money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another one I'm worried about is Colbert, because his ratings never really caught up with Silverman's, which is huge shoes to follow. To fill. And I understand that no one can be at what Letterman was, but I do enjoy Colbert. And the first half hour of his show is usually funny. He pretty
the
much
problem with
turned... What?
the problem with Colbert, like I said on the last attempt at doing this, the problem is most of his audience isn't the type to go ahead and watch those late night shows.
That's true. I mean, he'll always have his own audience, no matter where he goes, and I think he'll always be on TV, but he may not be a good fit for the type of format The Late Show is.
No.
Because either he's going to have to alienate the fans who would be into The Late Show, or his own fans. And right now, I don't think he's making either 100% happy.
No, I think right now he's trying to pander to both and failing miserably.
Not failing miserably, but not doing as well as he would hope to be. But from what I heard, the studio still likes him. His last few shows impressed the network as well, especially when he was covering the live conventions and everything. He did a whole psychedelic Hillary Clinton pro thing and called the show Death, Taxes, and Hillary.
God damn it.
He also turned the entire election cycle into literally the Hunger Games. He had like a blue wig and everything, and some champagne.
Shit.
Yeah, he does some funny shit.
Check it out at some point.
Yeah, he does some funny shit on his show, but that's like only the first half hour. He also does a funny segment called Midnight Confessions, where he does like different things he did bad that week. Really just funny one-off jokes, or sometimes reads tweets of what people send him. Yeah. So he has some funny segments and all. But the interviews are usually dry for me, unless it's someone I like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something like that, or Bernie Sanders. I usually don't watch it. So,
Yeah, back when he had his the Colbert Report, that's usually when I would turn it off and switch to something else. The interview parts were normally pretty boring.
Yeah.
Unless they had someone real interesting on.
Yeah, and Bill Maher's on hiatus, but he's doing well. He has Friday nights to himself, pretty much. And he has a 10 o'clock time slot, even though Colbert's on at Friday nights at 11:30. That doesn't go against Bill Maher's viewings. But, yeah. So, Larry Wilmore, he did fine for what he could do. The 11:30 time slot's tough, with Colbert on another channel, Fallon, and Kimmel. So, he did what he could, but eventually it just... ratings and social media won. It's just facts of television. But Jon Stewart did a very heartfelt speech during Larry's last episode when he guest starred, and said that he didn't fail, and he could use this experience for the future of his career, and everyone else on the show can too. And he brought a lot of things that weren't talked about on late night TV to the spectrum of the conversation at night. So yeah, it was a nice speech, and farewell, Larry Wilmore. And hello, Donald Trump statues. Fuck it, we're doing awkward segues today.
Yay! Since we had probably a pretty good episode recorded, and then it got fucked.
Yeah, let's not dwell on the past. Let's just get through our topics today and forget about the hilarious jokes that I now forget that I said. And accept the incestual Back to the Future ones we got.
Yes. Can I still go on my one rant?
About education? Yeah, let's leave that for last because I actually really
No, not the education rant, the one before that.
No.
The one where I'm dropping fuck every other word.
Yeah, and you get pissed off. Maybe we'll cover the topic, but try to calm
and the
down
gale starts
not
coming
smack
out of me.
people. Yeah, and then I had to censor things, and let's not go down that dark hole again. Rabbit hole, but not that rabbit hole. That's the bad rabbit hole.
But it was fun.
Do I have to spray water on you? No. Before this becomes horrible fanfic, let's continue. Donald Trump statues. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think this was an official police statement. We had to remove the statue because public erections are not allowed in the park, no matter how small. And they're still popping up, right?
Yeah, from what I've heard, they're popping up in different parts of the country everywhere, which
Alright.
is kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious indeed. Just go look at a picture of it. It's pretty well done. It just looks like the fat piece of crap Donald Trump is. They even put in his stretch marks and everything.
And they gave him a micro penis.
Yes, they did. Does he have tiny baby hands?
I don't know.
He should. He actually got him surgically smaller so he could touch his penis properly. I feel so bad for. By the way, kind of feel bad for our viewers with actual small penises. As long as you have a bigger brain than Donald Trump, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, having a small penis is fine, but when you combine that with having a small brain, you're fucked.
Yeah, actually, it's more so that Trump makes a big deal of it, and he's a horrible person, so you can use that as ammunition against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't generally body shame, though, but Trump is an easy target for that sort of thing because he body shames other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably more Trump things we can come up with. He fired his longtime campaign manager, who was trying to make him talk more normal, and went back to the old campaign manager strategy, though a different guy. I think a leader of this one news organization. I forget which one, though, but it is a conservative one. Essentially, though, he's going back to just being Trump and hoping that gets some votes like it did in the primary. I don't think it will work, though.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to get more votes than I think people expect, but I don't expect him to beat Hillary at this point, unless the health rumors about Hillary are true. Segway!
Yeah,
I'm getting better at this.
Apparently there's a lot of people that are bitching about the possibility of Hillary having health issues. I mean, there was a shit a while back where she collapsed when she was Secretary of State, and they found that blood clot in her brain.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fact that there's pictures and video of her needing help upstairs, and reports of her feeling dizzy and lightheaded at times.
I thought that's how stairs worked. I'm confused.
So I'm pretty sure Hillary has some medical issues that she's trying to cover up.
Yeah.
And she's tried squashing them by releasing basically an abridged version of her recent medical history, but you could tell there's quite a few empty spots in that medical history that she released.
I didn't see it. About to look at that later.
About everything involving her collapsing as Secretary of State.
Ah, damn, you're right.
That's basically completely scrubbed, other than what one doctor said.
Does she think the same thing about the public as Vince McMahon does and just assumes we'll forget everything a week later?
Actually, it seems like that is true.
Damn.
Because, I mean, when was the last time you heard anything about an email scandal?
Indeed.
No one wants to fucking talk about it.
Well, they were talking about it forever, to be fair, but I think she should have had some type of indictment for that.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not like a jail for life situation or anything, but she should have probably served a couple years' time for that.
She at least needs to be charged with a felony, convicted, and even if they do something to excommunicate her sentence, still disqualify her from ever holding public office in the U.S.
Yeah. But the only thing I would fear is that Tim McCain would become the next runner-up, and holy shit, as you may know, there's 2 presidential debates and a VP debate, and this October, if you really need to sleep, you have the chance to watch this VP debate because it's as thrilling as Miracle Whip versus mayonnaise, shampoo versus conditioner, white bread versus whiter bread.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. Even if Gary Johnson and Bill Weld can make it into the debates, I'm not watching because I don't fucking like Bill Weld at fucking all.
Why don't you like him? I never really went into that during our last take. I don't know much about him. Is what I mean. I was like, I like Bill Weld. No, I don't know anything about this fucker.
Well,
Ultra conservative, in the bad
not
way.
so much. Not so much that. It's more on most issues. He's not bad, but he doesn't know shit about foreign policy, and he's somehow trying to claim libertarian when he's anti-gun.
Ah, yeah, that's weird.
Like,
What do you mean anti-gun? Like banish guns or just gun control?
he won't exactly say exactly what his stance on gun laws are, but he makes anti-gun comments all the time,
All right.
calling AR-15s weapons of mass destruction and saying that handguns are just as bad, if not worse, than assault rifles. Which, just that term right there automatically points to anti-gunner.
Yeah, I see your point. And you also don't like Tim Kaine, and Pence is a prick. I don't fucking know. You think of something
Pence is
that
just your
rhymes.
typical fucking neocon. That's all he
Yeah.
is. There's nothing special about him.
Well, the only time he was in the news was for an anti-gay bill he passed that his state revolted against. Yeah.
Like, I don't like any of the fucking vice presidential candidates.
Who's Jill
And,
Stein's VP? Do you know?
oh god. I can't remember what the fuck his name was.
What's his stances? Because it sounded like it. Just the mention of it made you punched in the dick.
I can't remember what the fuck it was, but there was something about him that...
Was it claiming that Wi-Fi steals lunch money at schools?
No.
Maybe we'll get back to that some other time then. If you remember later, just bring it up. No big deal.
I can't remember. I know I looked into him and he was just horrible all around, but there was one thing that stuck out, like, even fucking the most far left person would go, even that's fucking stupid.
I see. And
Like, he has to be the most far left motherfucker ever.
like, does he want
He makes
abortions
Karl
at
Marx look-
drive-thrus?
He makes Karl Marx look conservative.
I have to check out his fucking stances. Maybe we'll do a segment on him next week.
Okay, maybe not that bad, but there was one thing that made him... that he was just so fucking far left on it was outrageous. And it was
Alright.
something that made no sense at all, too.
Something I wanted to talk about earlier on the show. I can't confirm any dates yet, but Joe Elder and Jeremiah Bannister of Paleo Radio agreed to be on our show sometime in the future. Right now they're in North Carolina. And, of course, Jeremiah Bannister going through what happened to his daughter. Unfortunately, Samantha Bannister passed away of brain cancer. But you can go to his GoFundMe, Team Tiny Dancer Forever, or just Team Tiny Dancer on GoFundMe to donate money to help with the medical bills and funeral costs and everything like that. But once we have a date, we'll inform you. Hopefully that'll be within the next 2 weeks or so, though. So,
Yeah, but I say we don't rush him because he has a good reason for not want to do
Yeah.
anything right.
In fact, I think this will be his Jeremiah's first appearance on a podcast since the passing of his daughter. Joe Elder has been taking the helm for Paleo Radio since it came off hiatus.
No.
So they stay strong out there. If I can gather enough money, I'll probably throw $5 or $10 into the pot at GoFundMe. Maybe after I do another commission on website I will not name. Writing things you will not know about. But anyway, there's a lot of wrestling stuff going on, but I'm not going to talk about that till next week because I went on such a huge tangent that I was there for 40 minutes. But will you maybe watch a few wrestling matches if I recommend them? But like maybe once every few days.
Link me to them on like YouTube or something, and yeah.
Alright. But I look forward to that next week as well. We're not ending the show or anything. It's just a few announcements as we're gathering our thoughts here. Another story. It's a small story, but another turret site has been taken out. This is probably the biggest one since Mega Turret? What was it called? What was it called again? Mega Uploader?
Mega Video.
Mega Video?
We're talking about torrent.
Yeah,
Does
torrents.
I'm not sure about torrents, but I do remember when Mega Video got taken down.
Yeah, I think it is
Wow.
Mega Video, which has torrents on it and stuff. I should say. Well, Kick-Ass Torrents has also been taken down, so if you see any links to that, it's probably the government. Don't click on it.
Yeah, all of the I don't think all of them, but the vast majority of the higher ups for Kick-Ass Torrents that made it run, they all got arrested and all their servers got seized. Like this was shit. I can't remember how many fucking countries were involved in it, but it was like a simultaneous worldwide raid, pretty much.
Hi, so is torrenting just a thing of the past and the future, or will there always be new ones? There will always be new ones. That wasn't even a real question.
Well, on the open web, I think torrenting may die out, but as far as dark web torrenting, we may have to switch to having to use proxies and Tor websites to get into the dark web and actually torrent shit before too long.
But the dark web has things I don't want to torrent. Which will create more criminals.
Yeah, they're basically going to do to torrenting what the criminal justice system does to minor offenders.
Yep.
Take someone that does something fairly harmless and stick them in a place with a bunch of hardened criminals. Well, I really want to say hardened criminals, but some really sick motherfuckers.
Yep.
Well, actually, yeah, there are hard criminals because they also do use the dark web for setting up assassinations, drug deals, shit like that.
Well, they have to be hardened criminals because you can't just sit around and become a soft, flabby criminal. You have to lift, bro.
Yes.
That's what they mean by hard, right? Because I take things literal because I'm part German. You see.
God damn it.
And the hardest criminal was pretty much like Greed from Full Metal Alchemist. He just turns his body to pure carbon, and then he's hard as fuck.
But yeah, torrenting torrenting on the open web is gonna be gone. I'd say within the next 5-10 years.
And do you think that even YouTube will be greatly reduced of the amount of videos that can be on it? Or actually, YouTube has gotten a little bit better. They send notices. Because I think they kind of gave up on YouTube because they can't just shut down YouTube. It's owned by Google. So they're just doing things where it links it to the actual thing. Or just has a channel to monetize their content that's on other people's videos. Still kind of shitty thing to do, but it's better than it being taken down and your channel being deleted.
Yeah, I think YouTube is probably going to end up letting up because I really don't see how these people. I mean, well, some YouTube shit I can see where people are just uploading music or music videos and shit like that.
And
Or
like full anime
before
episodes
content part.
of things that are newer and still being sold.
Yeah, but the way I see it, shit like, I'm a plug Proto Mario real quick because I've recently gotten into watching his Poke Theories.
Alright, I might check
I
that out
think
later.
shit like that should be taken down due to copyright because he's not really taking anything away from Nintendo or the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
He's just, if anything, he's getting me back into Pokemon to where I want to go out and get me another fucking Pokemon game now.
Sun and Moon's coming out soon.
Yeah, problem is, even though I want to really bad, I really can't because I've been out of work for a while since hurting my hand, and
Damn.
I'm down to about $100.
Ah, shit. Well,
Luckily, I was able to save up about 700 to last me this long. So
that's good.
But yeah, YouTube, I think they will probably start letting up on shit once the film and music industry doesn't have to worry about people torrenting and stealing their shit as much. That they will probably stop cracking down on YouTube as much.
Perhaps, or more, because they have... Because let's face it, this movie and music industry is kind of scumbags, and they're... torrenting and stuff like that is a major reason they're losing money. It's also because, let's face it, you have to sell modern-day music, and most of it sucks now.
Yeah.
I think it's at a slightly better place than it was maybe, like, 8 years ago, when it was unlistenable, but it's still few and far between. For every good song, it's still 200 bad songs. But point still remains.
I really don't listen to much mainstream.
Me either, to be honest. I haven't even known pop songs that existed since I stopped watching people on That Guy with the Glasses, specifically the Todd in the Shadows guy.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be a douchebag social justice warrior, some would say. They were a really bad one, even by good SJW standards. In other words, I did another fucking segue. It's Segway-A-Mania! Deal with it! But in all seriousness, what was the topic again? God damn it.
We were talking about Kick-Ass Torrents being taken down.
No, but I segued into something else. That was the old topic. Now because the torrent thing's going to be an ongoing internet war that we'll probably be able to talk about again next time. Well, I do have one more question about that, actually. What's the next biggest one that hasn't been taken down yet? Do you know?
Shit, I don't know.
I mean, like, let's see, fucking Mega Video and Upload was taken down to Pirate Bay. Is all government now, I think. And now Kick-Ass Torrents is... Oh, holy shit, they are gone. I'm gonna hide under my desk now. I don't torrent that often, to be honest, just because I don't have a lot of room in my computer from all my own video footage and stuff like that. But, yeah. But what I did transition to was... Shit, I honestly forget it. It was like 5 minutes ago. It was like Segway-A-Mania. What did I say before Segway-A-Mania?
Tana Shadows being a social justice warrior.
Oh, yes. We talked about this a little bit on our last fail take.
And this is what caused my giant rant.
Yeah. But let's just get to the one that caused a giant rant first. A Ellen DeGeneres picture of her riding one of the Olympic athletes, saying that this is how she wants to run her errands. Now, out of context, maybe I can see how someone could see that as kind of racist. Hey, look, he's using that black man as a cab. That's not right, but as much as even you hate Ellen DeGeneres, she obviously isn't a racist, and harping on her about it isn't really doing much.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. I'm so fucking sick of people trying to find racism or other type of bigotry or discrimination every fucking thing when it's not... When it's clear the person doesn't intend for it, people will still fucking try and find the slightest little thing that they can bitch about when it comes to racism or discrimination.
I don't think it's so much that they're looking for it as much as they become oversensitive to it. Like, they see microaggressions
If
as
they're
real
fucking
aggressions.
going after Ellen DeGeneres, they're fucking looking for reasons to goddamn bitch.
Okay, well, it is the internet, so you have a point.
I mean, like I said in my rant earlier, I can't fucking stand Ellen DeGeneres. I don't fucking like her one bit. But she is not a goddamn racist.
Yeah.
She posted a picture of her riding Usain Bolt, saying that's how that's how she's going to run her errands from now on. She was not fucking saying that she wants to use a goddamn black man as a fucking slave or anything like that. She was commenting about how fucking great he is at goddamn running, and how he's probably the fastest fucking person on the planet right now.
He is. Like, factually, I think the Olympic world record says that. He's literally the fastest man alive. Suck it, Sonic.
Yeah.
Suck it.
And actually, I watched a video of his last race. It looked like he was holding back.
Oh, isn't he, like, smiling and shit?
Yeah, he was smiling and waving to people at the crowd the entire time. He was holding back big time.
Holy shit. Does he just want to break a world record every time he goes to the Olympics or something?
Yeah, he's holding himself back just so that every 4 years they can be like, oh, Usain Bolt broke his record from last year.
It just turns out that he is literally the Flash, but he can't admit it.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of Olympics, any Olympic news we can talk about in a little bit?
Well, there was one thing I wanted to reference in that, actually first episode before I got on my rant was, I remember people posting on Twitter something basically the exact same thing except replace Usain Bolt with Michael Phelps. So, anyone that's not white saying they want to use a white man to swim them across the ocean, is that racist? No.
No, he is better. Hey, how else am I supposed to make my yacht go across the ocean? As if I have a yacht.
It's not fucking racist. It's a comment on how fucking great he is at goddamn running. Or in Michael Phelps' instance, swimming.
Yeah.
They're commenting them on their athletic ability. I don't see how people can fucking try and say that's racist. It's fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that
fucking
was literally
back.
Chris... I forget which comedian did it. I want to say Chris Rock, but I don't think it was Chris Rock, actually. But someone did a joke where the black... Now it's black people can't get a cab. Back then, they were the cab. And even that was an exaggeration. But yeah, I can see out of context how people might see it as racist, but in the context it was used, maybe it was a little... maybe it was like a little unwise to use it in the current internet environment she's in, especially her fan base being ultra-liberal. But
no, that shit. You shouldn't have to fucking restrict what you fucking say to not offend people, especially if what you're saying isn't fucking meant to be offensive.
Alright, I see your point.
Fucking monitor every fucking thing you say to make sure you're not going to offend anyone, because once you start fucking doing that, there's not going to be much you can fucking say or talk about anymore.
Stand-up comedians are dying out there because people are offended by jokes now.
It's fucking bullshit, and all this fucking social justice warrior bullshit needs to fucking stop.
Well, by that we mean... Well, the problem with this social justice warrior thing is that, though, there's definitely people who are too far left to the point where it's regressive and could have unforeseen consequences in the future, especially as time goes on and there's less older voters. Some things better, some things worse. Often it's used as a straw man to, like, discredit someone they just disagree with, even if they're not an extremist or are extremists. Like, even people I disagree with, like Anita Sarkeesian, who I just disagree with her premise that video games call sexism, though I do agree that there's elements of sexism in some video games, just like there's some sexism in movies and shit. It's just reflecting our culture, and we have some sexual bullshit in our culture. But anyway, like, but I don't think she deserves death threats or anything like that. And so maybe it doesn't exactly like counter your point of the progressive left, because I think that really is a thing. And I'm tired of hearing arguments that there's no such thing as the regressive left. It's just you're either as left as they are bigots. That's not true. There's just no nuance. You're either a thought police person on the far left or a complete racist bigot asshole or a misogynistic asshole on the right side. And people in our generation just doesn't seem to have any nuance to any subject whatsoever or want to hear anything that opposes their worldview.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me.
Huh?
That reminds me. If you get a chance, there's a Huffington Post article that I want you to read. It's called "The Smug White Liberal" or something like that.
All right.
And it actually talks about a bunch of shit like this.
All right, I might check that out. One more subject on it, but like for example, some of Anita's fans though are rapid and like she can do no wrong, and if you say anything about her, even if it's just criticizing her, Brent, you just get like virgin shamed, or only guys can disagree with that, so sexism. Even though there's plenty of girls who also spoke out against her points of views. I'm just using her as an example just because she's popular. Like, I have no strong feelings towards her one way or the other. Some things I think she said is untrue, and the UN stuff was especially troubling if the manuscript I read was correct.
Wait, what'd you say about the UN?
Pretty much it should be illegal for women to be criticized on the internet. Maybe if she, like,
Okay.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit.
All right. During the last podcast, during the last attempt at the podcast, I mentioned that a lot of social justice warriors aren't so much about equality anymore; they're more about oppression.
Yeah, that's an example
a fucking
of that.
example.
Yeah, I agree. And if she actually meant actual criticism and not harassment, and even then, harassment's just part of free speech, and there's a fucking block button, that's why it's there. I'm not saying that she deserves half the harassment she gets for her video game videos specifically. Her UN things, yeah, you can probably criticize her. Nah, even then, death threats and stuff like that has no place. You're just finding a target to get out your own aggressive, bigoted bullshit on an easy target, pretty much. But
yeah.
Two wrongs don't make a right, is what I'm saying. Okay. But if she does actually think that she shouldn't be criticized or she's above criticism, or criticism counts as harassment, she's wrong. I'm not saying that some of her critics are fair, like Thunderfoot, for example, takes a lot of her footage out of context and stuff like that for his anti-feminism videos.
No idea who Thunderfoot is.
Kind of like Amazing Atheist, but more scientifically minded, but kind of went off the deep end in recent years.
Oh.
Yeah. Especially since his father died, he kind of lost it. Yeah. He used to be somewhat respected, more so than TJ, though some people still like TJ and listen to his Drunken Peasants podcast, but I haven't watched him in years because I just find him obnoxious at this point. But he was there. But he was there when I needed to watch his type of firebrand videos. When I was like a teenager. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about briefly. If you like her, fine, whatever. Whatever. I'm not saying that there isn't bullshit in all forms of media that's kind of sexist, racist, whatever. But you can't really hold back artwork either. So you can point it out. It's free game. But you can't really stop it. Society has to change for that to stop, but I just don't think you're going to change it in that way anyway, so it's just to get a bunch of clicks, pretty much. I don't know. Let's just get off the subject before we get more hate mail. I'm getting the hate mail this time, unlike last time.
Yeah.
You do not hate Anita Sarkeesian enough. You hate her. You just say you disagree with her. You're literally Hitler. Yeah.
Another thing I'm sick of. Fucking people saying that anyone that disagrees with them is Hitler. No, unless they're actively trying to fucking either cause genocide or commit genocide against people, they aren't fucking Hitler. Like, who's a good example of someone that meets a criteria for Hitler?
Donald Trump. What? I would just cough. Sorry, I coughed. I meant to say Donald Trump. Nah, I see more Mussolini connections with Trump than Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, including his, like, mannerisms.
Yeah, Trump is very Mussolini-like, but...
Or African dictator, as Trevor Noah pointed out. You should watch that video. It's kind of funny. He's, like, literally said things that African dictators have said.
Well, a lot of that's from is because a lot of African dictators are fascist, and Mussolini was basically the fascist.
Yep.
Like, whenever you think of fascism, who pops into your mind?
Mussolini biting his weenie, and now it doesn't work. Also, he was hung in the streets. I think of weird things, by the way.
God damn it.
Brought to you by Disney. Ironically, they were anti-Semitic. No. Allegedly.
Not just anti-Semitic, also extremely racist.
Song of the South.
I mean, go back and look at any fucking early Disney het cartoon.
The Crows from Dumbo.
Yeah, that's one example, and then there's... shit.
Song of the South, I already said, but it needs to be said again. Song of the South.
Just about any fucking, Disney het cartoon early on that had any type of people, you could always find, extremely racist black stereotypes.
I just couldn't believe that Donald Duck was a Nazi. No. That was hilarious. Watch that cartoon.
Oh, I've already seen that.
I'm talking to our viewers. I know you did. You were the one who showed me the cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Actually, shit, I showed that to my entire U.S. and Virginia history class when we were covering World War II.
Yeah, that was a good pick. There was other ones, too. Like, some were just, like, little advertisements and stuff like that. Toonhead showed it late at night when Cartoon Network had more Warner Brothers stuff.
I know I did the Nazi Donald Duck one, and I did a USSR one.
Ah. Isn't there also one where, like Bugs Bunny hits Hitler with something?
I can't remember.
Yeah. There's also one with, like, there's gremlins inside, like, a World War II bomber.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
That one was shown a lot, actually. It wasn't
even while we were growing up, it was on.
Let's just get high next episode and watch a bunch of Looney Tunes. How about that? And Disney. Yeah. That would be an entirely different podcast that we should probably do.
Yeah.
Speaking of pot, California will have marijuana on the ballot. Do you think it will pass?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think if California has it...
Yeah.
Yeah, if California has it passed recreationally, do you think it's only a matter of time until the rest of the states fall like dominoes, much like it did with gay marriage and other issues like that?
I don't know. I think it's going to take it to start either medical or recreational to start spreading to the East Coast.
Yeah. Also, it is going to have to be...
Midwest and East Coast states legalizing it, recreational or medical.
Well, we don't need every state to have it legalized. We just need to have enough where the federal government looks at it and says it's not a level 1 substance.
Yeah, which they were actually looking at it and were supposed to... Everything had pointed to them reclassifying it to Schedule 2, but then they're like, no, we're going to keep it Schedule 1 because haha, fuck you.
Meanwhile, cocaine is Schedule 2.
No, not just coke. Methamphetamine is a Schedule 2.
Well, to be fair, that's like Ritalin and stuff like that.
No, not the Ritalin or Adderall forms. I'm talking straight methamphetamine is a Schedule 2.
Yeah. Yeah, there is one thing cocaine is used for well. It's like some type of nasal surgery. It's the only proper way to numb that part of the body without going under anesthetic.
Yeah. And it's also really good for narcolepsy.
Yeah.
Which, right now, if you have narcolepsy, you know what they give you?
What?
Adderall.
And then you're suspended from WWE.
But yeah, nowadays, narcolepsy, it's either Adderall or Ritalin for narcolepsy.
Mm-hmm. Man, marijuana is a fucking medicine.
Yeah.
Flat out. It's, fuck it. It's less dangerous than cough syrup.
Yeah. But my stance is we need to just go ahead and legalize everything.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean that way too.
Educate people on the actual effects of the drugs and not anti-drug propaganda, and let people make their own choices.
Yeah, though I will say, like, I don't think pain pills should be made illegal. Doctors were paid to lie to people about the dangers of them, and it's becoming a big epidemic now.
Yeah, it's causing a major heroin problem in the country.
And know what cured the that crisis in Colorado? Marijuana.
Yeah.
Because people.
Oh.
Yep.
They now have so much tax revenue that they have enough to fund the schools from it now, and are using it to open up substance abuse clinics.
Yep, and also people use that for a painkiller instead of heroin or painkillers.
Yeah, like, I'll be honest, painkillers, weed doesn't help with my back, but when I hurt my hand or any other, like, bone or joint injuries, it's fine, but for scoliosis, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, painkillers can still have their place, or they should at least find a painkiller that's less harmful to the body.
Well, like I was about to say, painkillers, they do nothing for when I hurt my hand or when my knees are bothering me, but they work great for my back, so...
Yeah.
So let people make their own decisions. Let them know what will help them. Let them know the risk of what they're taking.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think everything should be available over the counter, really. People should be able to make their own decisions. If people want to go out and snort or
how about like,
them do that.
Should there still be age limits for some things?
What was that?
But should there still be age limits for certain things if it's not prescribed by a doctor?
No. A 2-year-old should be able to walk to a gas station, buy heroin at any time.
At retail price, damn it. No.
No, but seriously, I do agree with age limits.
Yeah.
But I think it should be 18 and not 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. The only reason they changed it to 18, it used to be drinking age 18 at some places, is because people would show up to school drunk. But that's fucking college still, and I think college is more important than high school.
Well, the thing is, people still show up to high school drunk.
Yep. I know you did.
No. Yeah.
I never did that because I was naturally drunk on life, as in I had horrible ADHD and possibly Asperger's, so... But anyway.
But yeah, I think we need to go ahead and legalize everything. Let people make their own decisions. Because you can't really have a free society unless you're free to make decisions that not just good for you, but also bad for you if you so choose.
Also, the fact that if you do more testing and work on the drugs, you can get benefit effects without having the harms of street drugs. Like ecstasy, you can have it a perfectly safe environment. And there's places in Europe that do that.
Yeah, like when you buy drugs on the street, you have no idea how potent it is, what it's been cut with, or anything like that.
If you're
But
essentially snorting talcum powder as half of it, no. Which apparently
that,
causes cancer.
yeah, that's a big problem with coke dealers is wanting to cut their product with talcum powder, flour, baking soda, all kinds of other
Pixie
shit.
sticks, no. No. The pixie stick is an extra bonus. They put that on there.
But yeah, everything was
We call
legal
it fairy dust.
because a lot of drug overdoses is caused by people not knowing how strong what they have is.
Yeah.
They're used to a watered down and extremely stepped on product instead of pure, and then if they get something that's pure or at least more pure than what they're used to, they don't realize it, they're going to do their normal amount, which could kill them.
Yeah. No, there's
Like,
also another issue where eventually, especially if you're taking it to get high, with painkillers where you build up a tolerance, you have to take more and more, and then you could end up having fatal overdoses from that. But that's if you're a drug addict.
yeah. But if more knowledge was available to the public, they'd be able to know how much they'd be able to take with their tolerance without dying.
True.
Because as your tolerance goes up, the threshold for how much is going to kill you will go up too.
Yeah.
Really, keeping drugs illegal is doing a lot more harm than good.
I agree. The war on drugs is complete bullshit, and it was made because fuck you, black people and hippies.
Yeah, like a member of the Nixon administration came out and said that. Wait, was it?
Yeah, we covered this in the past, but I think the episode's dead
document
now.
by a member of the Reagan administration saying that the war on drugs
it was the Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon administration. I'm not sure if it was an actual person that came out and said it, or if it was
I think it was an actual aide.
document that came out and said, yeah, the war on drugs was made to target minorities.
Yep, and people were voting against the war. Yeah,
But-
Nixon was a dick.
And,
Thus we call him Dixon.
And honestly, I think that would be a major step toward ending a lot of the problems that are in the so-called black communities, which are really just poor communities. People just call them black because racism.
Yeah, it would definitely help with stopping on the road and stuff like that. Granted, there's still going to be road laws for intoxication and whatnot.
Yeah. But, like, I'm against DUIs, but because at that point you're putting other people's life at risk.
Yeah, obviously.
But you should be able to make your own decisions and put into your body whatever you want, as long as it's not
Yeah,
negatively.
but unless you're like driving poorly, or they like see an open container or something.
I don't even think an open container should be enough. I think that if you're under the legal limit, you should be allowed to go down the het road drinking a beer.
Yeah,
As long as you maintain under a .08, you should be able to drive while drinking a beer.
I think that's... I wouldn't go that far, just because you might be fine for a while, but what if you just decide to have more and then you are drunk? Like, I don't think you should be drinking while driving. But, like, but my real point was that, they're not going to stop you just for having drugs. They'll only do it if you're, like, your driving's impaired or something like that. or if they like literally just see you doing the drug. Which if you're like doing cocaine on your steering wheel while driving, you have a problem. That's probably what truckers do now that I think about it. I'll ask my dad.
No, what truckers? Well, actually, due to all the regulations, there's really no point in truckers doing coke or anything else to keep
Yeah, I
them
know,
away.
because they have to stop after a few hours.
But before all these regulations, it was actually meth that they used because they
Yeah,
could
I know
make a
that.
bunch of meth,
My dad
and it's
told me
cheaper.
about his meth days.
It's sad I know so much about fucking meth and I've never done it. I fucking
Thank you,
hate living
Walter
here.
White. No.
No, it's from living in fucking Southwest Virginia
Ah,
where
yeah, that'll do it.
let me put it this way. The nearest town to me is the meth capital of the United States.
Come for the meth. Stay because you have no teeth.
Come for the meth, stay because there's plenty of fucking meth around here. I mean, god damn.
Come for the meth. Stay for the meth because we have jack shit else.
Yeah, there really
Including
isn't much else.
Pokemon. We have none.
Well, once you actually get into town, you might be able to find a few Pokemon. Like I caught me 2 Electabuzzes in town last time I was there.
And then you just find a Diglett in your girlfriend's vagina.
No, the augmented reality part doesn't work for me, sadly.
Aw.
Well, it does, but my camera is too shitty for it to actually be worth it.
Ah, okay, I see.
Like, it's a fucking 3 megapixel camera.
Alright. That sucks.
But yeah,
I guess we talked about schools a little bit before. Want to go into that?
yeah, since we're talking about local things, the school thing was kind of a local thing that made me want to talk about today.
Yeah, but this all started with a Facebook conversation you had about the school system in general.
Yeah, well, let me do a little bit of backstory real quick. This small town where I live, we have a Facebook page. It's called Blank Town, Blank, well, fuck, I'll say it. Galax Talk of the Town, No Holds Barred, which is basically where people rant and bitch about whatever they want to around here. And today we happen to get into a giant discussion about the education system and about how schools need to stop focusing on fucking sports and need to start focusing on goddamn teaching students.
So it was a change from their usual conversation about how their town sounds like a gay laxative. Go on.
But yeah, like, fucking... Okay, I went to 3 different high schools. 9th grade, I went to Aberdeen High School up in Maryland. 10th and 11th, I went to Carroll County High School here in Virginia. And 12th grade, I went to Kenwood in Baltimore. Well, back when I was at CCHS, they had a huge fucking library, even bigger than Aberdeen's, which was about the size of, if not bigger than, most public libraries for Harford County. And they decided to rip that out to put a gym in. They also had fantastic trade classes such as automotive, agriculture, fucking computer sciences out the ass. You had straight computer science. You had strictly hacking and coding. You had specific hardware. You had drafting. You had all these other different computer classes. You had engineering classes and shit like that. And now they're replacing them classes with bullshit. Like, the computer science room, it got turned into a 5th fucking weight room for the school.
The only time you would need 5 weight rooms is if the athlete's gotten so strong that they can't lift the weights, they have to lift the machines themselves.
Like,
Hey, that was hilarious when I said it during the previous thing.
yeah, but the school system around here has gotten horrible. They're fucking taking away all the fucking trade classes and shit that people actually enjoyed and set them up for life after high school and replacing them with bullshit. Like, I mean, I have no problems against sports. I like sports, but
Go Ravens.
when it comes to school system, education should be top priority. And another thing, with education, we need to stop teaching students how to pass a multiple fucking choice test and how to actually think and come up with answers on their own.
There's more lessons as important as Occam's razor is. There's more to life than just process of elimination. And all the testing does and all the test prep does is just make you be good at tests, not actually retain the knowledge.
Yeah, you don't retain shit. All you know is how to pass a goddamn multiple choice test. And
So it should all be written tests where you write the answer. Seems like the obvious solution.
yeah,
Okay.
like have have tests where they have to actually show their knowledge and not just have to guess the best answer.
Yeah. I mean,
Like like with science classes, I think their final exam should be some type of science experiment that involves as much from the semester or year as possible. With with like English, you should have to like write essays and shit. Show that you can actually use the knowledge that they've given you instead of just picking 1 out of 4 answers.
yeah.
Come up with your own shit.
Mind if I do a small statement about this? Though I don't agree with the current system with the multiple choice, I'm okay with there being a national standard for what education is, only because some of the southern states, you saw how with our current system it's already getting fucked over, where they're teaching creationism and false history in Texas and shit like that, or their system already. So I think we do need a standard that teaches actual education, but the Common Core multiple choice question bullshit has to go.
Yeah. I think that school funding shouldn't be based off of test scores. It should be based off of how well the students are doing 10 to 15 years after they leave that school.
Maybe.
Because if the school was doing their goddamn job, the students shouldn't be fucking struggling.
Or if there is a test, even if there is like a test standard for it, they should at least have better tests that actually test knowledge and not just being good at test.
Yeah, because right now, while teachers aren't explicitly told they have to teach this, this, and this, their funding is based off of how well their students do on standardized tests that just cover specific things, and it severely limits what teachers can actually teach.
Yeah. Also,
Because if they don't teach the shit that's on the test, then the students aren't going to do all that well.
and the
So
teacher usually ends up getting fired, and this ruins a lot of young teachers' careers.
Yeah. Like, I would fucking love for my U.S. Virginia history teacher to be the head of the Department of Education. Like,
Did he teach real history without Moses being at the signing of the Constitution?
no, I didn't think he ever mentioned Moses.
That's good.
Although he did freestyle in class one time.
Still better than creationism and Jesus being at the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
But yeah, in CCHS, they do have some really good fucking teachers there that are willing to help their students and do what they can to help their students out. But a lot of times they can't because they're having to focus too much on teaching how to pass the goddamn standardized test. Like some teachers, just so that they don't lose their job, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want them getting in trouble, but they would basically teach what they wanted throughout the semester and then have to spend the last month cramming people's heads with the answers to the standardized test.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a big problem at one of the three schools. I'm not going to say which one, although it actually wasn't CCHS.
Was it Aberdeen? No, you couldn't read in Aberdeen. You didn't even have pencils in that school.
Aberdeen was a goddamn shit school. Even though they did have a damn good library, they did have a shit fucking school.
To be fair, it was mostly books on drug dealing. No.
No, actually, they had a really, really good library at Aberdeen.
Yeah, I believe I was just making jokes.
The thing is, no one fucking used it.
It was there for napping purposes only.
Basically.
Didn't you sleep during one of your classes and they passed you anyway because they didn't give a fuck?
No, you're thinking of biology, which I took at CCHS, and they didn't pass me just because. They passed me because even though I was able to sleep all day, every day in that class, except for when I was taking tests or doing the classwork, I knew the shit.
Yeah, that's good. I got
all A's in that class, and then I got a perfect score on the SOL.
Yeah, nice. I was the weird type of student that never did classwork or homework, but I would pass almost every test.
Yeah. And Dr. Swink, my biology teacher, she didn't do multiple choice tests.
Ah. Nice.
Well, she would have a small portion of it that was like 5 to 10 questions, multiple choice out of 50, and then everything else was either fill in the blank or come up with your own answer. Like, shit. I'm trying to think of a specific example. You know the Punnett Square?
Huh? The what?
You know what a Punnett Square is, right?
A Planet Square?
Punnett Square for the, figuring out the chances of whether or not a gene is going to get passed off to two parents.
Oh, yeah, I know. I roughly know.
Like,
I don't remember the fine details anymore, but I know what you're talking about.
Like, for that, like, when we covered that, a large portion of her test was either having to write up Punnett squares or explain which genes could be passed on and which genes wouldn't, the chances of a specific gene popping up and shit like that.
Yeah.
Not multiple choice of Punnett square means A, B, C, or D.
Yeah. When I went to biology in school, and yeah, I had one of the teachers that hated her job and didn't really want to be there and just had people read the textbooks and you weren't allowed to talk.
Oh no, Swink was great.
Alright, that's good.
And plus she was also cool as shit. Like, she had a horse skeleton in her classroom. She had all kinds of plants and animals set up. She had okay, I can't tell one story because I don't want her getting in trouble in case anyone have to...
Yeah, I know the story you're talking about. Dead bodies, I'm just kidding. It's not that.
The one where me and her completely derail an entire classroom discussion.
Yes. So it's much like our podcast, really. Though,
yeah.
during our second take, I think we did a lot better staying on subject. We only went off a little bit, but then went back on and then segued fully.
Yeah.
Maybe we should fuck up and do rehearsals more often. I'm just kidding. Fuck that noise. Though we should be more organized.
Yeah.
Did you want to do a rant about the Germany system versus the American system again, or just do it in a nutshell where you want something similar, but you want more freedom? Because in the Germany system, pretty much they like decide if you're a trader, academic, or athlete.
Well, I was about to go into all that.
Oh, you were? Okay, well, you can.
Okay, in addition to reforming how we teach, like, instead of in addition to just switching from how to pass standardized tests to actually knowing the information and being able to use it and apply it instead of passing tests, we also need to do something to help prepare people for life after high school, because that's something that's majorly lacking nowadays. And honestly, I'm not sure. I know we used to have like trades and shit, but I'm not sure if we had much to actually help people out before. But we need to have shit like trades in high school. Well, let me backtrack. What we need to do is, in addition to what we were talking about earlier, shit. Hold on. Let me gather my thoughts real quick.
Alright. What we...
In addition to what we were talking about earlier about how we need to switch from standardized testing to, well, just teaching how to pass a test to actually teaching people the facts and how to apply them and critical thinking skills, I think we also need to restructure the education system to where everything that's currently taught K through 12 now should be condensed to K through 8, and then 9 through 12 needs to be more college level academic classes or trades, so that by the time people graduate high school, they're not just getting their diploma, they're also getting a certification in some type of trade, or leaving with the equivalent of a bachelor's degree.
Alright.
Wait, I think it's bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree is 2 years, right?
Actually, I think bachelor's degrees is like the first degree you get, and then it's associates.
Yeah, so bachelor's would be 2 year,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, basically come out with either a certification or a certification for a trade, or basically a community college degree.
Alright.
Which is actually kind of similar to what Germany does, except that during that K through 8 period, they're monitoring you, seeing what you're good at, whether you seem more suited for academics or trades or something along that lines, and then they basically tell you what to do.
So they get a sorting hat, and then you're drafted to Trader Door, the House of Traitors. We're not Slytherin. Yes, you are.
God damn it.
Speaking of Harry Potter, new Harry Potter book. I haven't read it yet. That's all I have to say.
But yeah, my system, they would still monitor you throughout K through 8, and then at the end of grade 8, during the last week or so, you get called into the guidance counselor's office or whoever, and they sit you down and explain to you, now this is what we recommend you do, but you could also do this, and this. Not really tell people what they have to do, but give them recommendations.
Alright, I get it now.
While in the German system, it's basically, you're smart, you're an academic, so pick your academic field. You're not so smart, pick a trade field.
You're not so smart, but you can throw ball good. You're athletic. I'm just kidding. They don't throw balls in Germany. They only kick them. Oh, I guess there's rugby. Anyway, I'm so sad. We had some funny jokes in our last recording, such as Gary Johnson raping Donald Trump to death. It made sense in context, trust me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, John Cena being last one, and I played a show out with John Cena music. It was great, but that's lost now. But I will say that we will have an episode next week, maybe a little more wrestle and nerd heavy in general. Though, I do have one fucked up story to end the show on.
Hold on, was there anything else that we skipped? I'm trying to think.
There might have been, but I think we said all the major points.
Oh yeah, there was one thing that
there was one major thing we forgot.
No, there was. Actually, there's
the flood.
Two major things, and then one thing I wanted to briefly mention.
The flood?
Well, there's the flooding in Louisiana, the Milwaukee riots, and I also want to talk to the temple dedicated to the Norse gods being built over in Europe.
Alright. Alright, next,
But basically,
we're
that's
gonna
all
get
I
into
wanted to
a
say about it.
more jokey... Actually, do we have any jokey topics? Yes, we do. New temple.
Yeah, I can't remember what country it was, but there's a country over in Europe that's currently working on a temple dedicated to Thor, Odin, and I can't remember the third Norse god.
Loki?
No.
The frost giant father? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to scroll through our Skype messages and
Well,
see.
what's the purpose of it? Are they actually pagan, or is it like a joke? What is it?
I'm not sure what they're doing, if they're meaning it as a joke or if it's serious, but I still like the idea of them building a temple dedicated to Norse gods.
Okay.
I want to take a pilgrimage over there just so I can pray to and sacrifice to the Norse gods, just for the hell of it.
First, you gotta pick a goat. No.
Damn it, you mean I can't pick a human sacrifice?
No. They don't have the proper taxing for that. But, goat's fine. I mean, because if you have to have a bullshit... If you have to worship some imaginary bullshit god, at least let it be also ones like the Nordic gods.
I think you mean Norse.
Norse, whatever. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! They're called Nordic. In Yu-Gi-Oh!
God damn it. Oh, and then there was also something that I wanted to briefly mention that we didn't even cover last podcast, too.
What?
Al-Qaeda's trying to make a comeback with Bin Laden's son trying to take over.
He's gonna make Al-Qaeda great again. He's gonna build a wall around Iraq and make America pay for it. It's gonna be great.
No, actually, everything I've seen, they're planning attacks on Saudi Arabia.
I see.
So, yay! Now we can have two terrorist organizations we're fighting in the Middle East instead of just one.
I feel as though this is like a Britney Spears comeback where she tries to release a song so people pay attention to her, but it doesn't work. But I guess we'll see how the terrorist pop charts continue. What the fuck did I create?
God damn it.
Drink every time Munchie says God damn it.
Are you trying to kill our guy?
Yeah, maybe. No. If they
Damn it, we
made it
don't
this
have
far,
my-
it's their own fault.
We didn't have many listeners to begin with. We don't need to start having them drop like flies from alcohol poisoning.
True. There's someone who makes bingo cards for Atheist Podcast. Maybe have them make one for our show. Ari Stillman is the person's name.
Maybe.
Yes. God damn it. You saying God damn it would be the free space.
Yeah.
I have them added on Facebook. Maybe I can ask. But
Alright.
anyway, on a more serious subject of the floods in Baton Rouge and other parts of Louisiana, and Trump was the only one who showed up and did anything so far, correct?
Yeah. Trump, he actually came in with truckloads of food, water, and stuff for kids, and helped distribute it out to everyone.
Yeah.
Which
And
I do.
of course,
There's just
make America
publicity
great
stunt.
again hats. And
What?
Donald Trump action figures with detachable penises for the kids.
God damn it.
But has Hillary even said anything yet?
No, Hillary's been keeping quiet throughout this entire thing. I haven't heard her mention a single fucking thing about it.
And apparently someone was arguing about Black Lives Matter people not being there either, or any other black protesters, at least in regards to the flood volunteering.
Yeah, I saw this one video the other day. This one looks like mid-20s black guy. He was talking well, basically calling out Black Lives Matter and the Black Panther Party for not coming and helping, that it was all
Did
locals or outside white people coming to help,
well,
and not these people that are claiming to be out to help the black community.
did you check his claims afterwards, or have you not had really a chance to do a hard search on that?
I didn't do too much research, but I did do a quick one, and they haven't showed up. There's really hasn't been anyone there. And it's been locals, National Guard, and Trump.
I will say that Black Lives Matter is a activist group for a certain issue involving police violence in communities. Maybe they feel that isn't their thing to do, but I don't know. Like, I'll do some research to see if, like, I'm sure there's some Black Lives Matter people who associate with them that show up and do it, but or in the local area. But there probably isn't any official movement to help.
It's all local, but these other protests or riots from Black Lives Matter, you have them coming from all over the place for them, but when the black community needs serious fucking help, they're nowhere to be found. I mean,
I would argue that the police issue is a serious problem too, but you would expect them to be there to at least some capacity.
I mean, their group is called Black Lives Matter. Black lives are at risk in these predominantly black communities that were hit by these floodings, and they're nowhere to be found. Neither is the Black Panther Party, which is supposed to be there to help black people no matter what the situation is.
No, how prominent is the
Black
Black
these
Panthers
groups are there helping.
Anymore? Yeah, hopefully. Well, maybe if they really aren't. Maybe people should start tweeting to them, asking, "Hey, what's up with that?" I don't want to dismiss the entire movement over this, but if it's true, I don't know why they're not there. When they've done effort to other protests and stuff like that, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, they can organize all these protests where they go around destroying people's communities, but they can't.
Okay, not every protest ends in a riot.
I'm not saying everyone does, but the vast majority of them do.
Not really. I mean, there has been riots in Milwaukee lately.
Yeah, we'll cover that here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, people need to help these people in Louisiana that are struggling.
Yeah, I agree. Is there any donate anywhere you can donate, or just like Red Cross or something like that, or what?
Yeah, I imagine you could donate to the Red Cross and shit.
Alright, I mean, find a way to donate to help these people. Make sure that the charity is legitimate, though. Sorry if you hear my chair there in the background a little bit, but yeah, do that. And if Black Lives Matter people really aren't there, step it up, show up, or at least do an official statement of why you aren't there or something. But I don't know. I don't run their movement. I can't tell them what to do. I wasn't trying to do that there, but I don't know. I'll look it up after this, probably. But, on to the riots. I only read a little bit on it. Like I said, I've been watching my nephew most this week, so I haven't had much time to catch up on the news, but what exactly happened in a nutshell?
Okay, well, police arrive at some type of altercation. No specific details have been released about the altercation that led up to it, but as police are arriving, guy goes running away. He has a gun on his hip, which this is an open carry state, so police should be trained on how to handle an open carrier in these type of situations and shit, and he's actively running away, and yet they still shoot him.
Yeah, I think I
I
may have
mean,
heard about this case.
even though he had a gun, even though he did have a criminal record, he still shouldn't have been shot in the back as he's trying to flee. You do not shoot people in the goddamn back as they're trying to get away. I'm pretty sure that's a goddamn war crime if you were a soldier fighting in active combat.
Mm-hmm.
I believe our police need to start being held to the same standards as active combat.
Because if they're going to be loaded to the teeth like a military, they should act like one. Though, hey, let's face it, we do war crimes too.
And you don't shoot a motherfucker in the back as he's trying to flee. The better option wouldn't have been great, but smarter would have been chase him down with the police cruiser and either open the door and knock him down with it, or right as you're about to hit him, brake so that you slow down and barely tap into him.
Or
and
get one of
knock
those
him down.
riot shields that's shaped like Captain America's shield and toss it at him.
That's another option, but I'm thinking of more realistic things.
Oh, but mine's cooler.
But you shouldn't fucking shoot someone in the goddamn back as they're trying to flee, especially if they're not fucking pointing a goddamn gun at you.
Yeah.
Now, I can understand if he was running away, had slightly turned around, pointing a gun at him, but no, he was facing directly away from him, hand nowhere near the goddamn gun from every witness account I've heard.
There's been other adults and even children who weren't armed who's been shot just for running away.
Yeah.
And some before they even had any warrant to arrest them in the first place.
Yeah, like this guy, they had no reason to suspect him of any wrongdoing, but he still fucking gets shot. It's the same case with Freddie Gray. They had no reason to pursue him or anything, and yet he ended up dead.
Yep, and no one got in trouble for it.
Well, the officer that shot him was placed on administrative leave, but it's basically paid vacation for him.
Yep.
They sit around the house all fucking day, every day, collecting their fucking paychecks still.
Yeah. Alright, did you hear, speaking of another shooting briefly, did you hear that George Zimmerman, the guy who shot Trayvon Martin, got punched in the face after bragging about shooting Trayvon Martin?
No, I didn't hear about that one.
That happened.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, go on. That was just our somewhat bittersweet feel-good story. Didn't DMX want to beat up George Zimmerman and then piss on him in Vegas?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I think DMX legitimately challenged George Zimmerman to a boxing match.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And he can fight. I mean, he was on Def Jam Vendetta. There was a rapper fighting game. It was a thing. Look it up. Don't look it up.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn about the riots. I mean, I can understand where the rioters are coming from because non-threatening man shot while he's trying to flee. That's bullshit. And
you can understand the protests and why the riots happen, but riots aren't a solution to the problem, right?
Hold on, let me finish.
Sorry.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with the riots themselves. I do agree with some parts of the riots, such as the precinct that the officer was from got attacked by rioters, where people were actually shooting at the cops, and the cops had to barricade themselves into the police station. Now, I do agree with that to a point.
Okay.
Hey, I mean...
At least they're attacking the area that caused them grief, I guess.
Yeah, at least they're going after the people that are causing the issues, not destroying their own... Well, they still ended up destroying their own fucking neighborhood, which I
Then they
which I'll
burned down a
never.
gas station, right? And an auto repair shop.
Yeah, they burned down buildings, looted a shitload of others. I don't agree with all that, but going after the police for shit like this, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, fuck it. If police shoot people in your neighborhood, fucking go after them.
And then just play Street Justice from Twisted Sister.
I am so fucking sick of hearing about people getting shot in the fucking news by the police,
Yeah.
especially people that don't fucking deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm extremely fucking critical of Black Lives Matter, but I do agree with them that something needs to be done about all these police shooting people.
Yeah, definitely.
But where I differ from Black Lives Matter is it's not just blacks, it's also everyone. And
Well,
com- eh, looking at statistics for police brutality and percentage of and races represented in the U.S., Native Americans are much more likely to be victims of police brutality than African Americans by a large margin. Just that there's so few Native Americans that it doesn't really make that much news.
well, it's not saying that only Black Lives Matter. It's saying Black Lives Matter too, to be fair. That's why they call it that. But saying Black Lives Matter just makes more of an impact and sounds better. But I'm just going. But I'm just talking about the choice of the name, not anything else involving their policies, etc.
Like, we need a group that stands up against all police corruption and abuse, and not just for a specific group of people.
Well, they are trying to get rid of it in general, I think, but they're like specifically holding up the issues in the poorer and black communities, where a lot of this is happening in the news every day. And the major problem of it is racism in the police force. Like, did you hear the reports on the Baltimore policing? Like, in one of the things, it has like multiple options of what the situation may be, but the default offender is black male. That's just defaultly written there in their guides.
The thing is, racism in the Baltimore police force is not new to me. I've experienced it firsthand. I'm not sure if I told this story on this podcast or not before.
You're allowed to if you want to, but you
okay,
haven't yet.
Well, when I was living in Baltimore, I was living in this one neighborhood that was fucking horrible called Berkshire. And,
it sounds horrible.
And one day I'm out. No, I wasn't out putting in applications. I was walking back from the library, and this one black guy, he stops me and asks me, "Hey man, you know where the nearest bus stop is that will get me to?" I can't remember what street. I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what bus it is, but I know there's a bus stop on the other side of the mall, and I start pointing, and that's when we get surrounded by about 5 cop cars, and they all come out with their guns pointed at us, asking what we're doing and to get on the ground.
So he assumed he was trying to deal you drugs. What the fuck, though?
Well, while we were on the ground and they're patting us down, they're asking, "What the fuck were you two talking about, boy?" Talking to the black guy, and then they're like, and they start patting me down and shit, and they're like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to tell the dude how to get to a bus stop. He has a job interview." And
Not in my town.
They're fucking patting us down, trying to dig into our pockets, trying to find anything they can to get us for. They tried fucking getting me for having a goddamn pocket knife on me. But yeah, I've witnessed firsthand. You can't even tell black guy where the bus stop is without Cops surrounding you, pointing guns at you, and trying to figure
Holy
out what the
shit,
fuck they're
though.
doing.
Like, like, what did they think you were, though? Like, you are the bus stop stabber. Anyone who asks you where the bus stop is, you just stab them in cold blood. But only for that specific question. Like, if they ask you direction, you can't stab them. It's the rules. It's the rules. But my terrible jokes aside, that story's horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
more and more cops are fucking racist as fuck. So
yeah.
we also need some major criminal justice and police reform in this country.
Yeah, we had a conversation of it last episode, I believe, where you said that we should have reactive policing, not proactive.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
listen to that. Listen to the entire thing of last week's episode, in fact. All of it.
also how we need to privatize police forces and shit like that.
I'm not sure about privatizing just because I worry that it might have the same consequences as privatizing the jail system. But
Well, if
anything is better than what we have now.
into a reactive system instead of a proactive system, there really won't be too much they could do like that.
No, that's true.
What?
That's true, I guess.
Like they have, like make it so that they have to specifically be called for something instead of out patrolling the neighborhoods watching.
Alright.
That, along with ending the drug war and really shit. No, I'm about to go on to how to improve black communities and poor communities.
Yeah. Well, we've already gone an hour and 40 minutes, just like last time. But with a lot more political gooiness. What?
I said even cutting out wrestling, we're still going way over.
Yes, we are. Well, this may either be a long, only semi-edited episode, because obviously I have to record the long pause with where you had to check on your dogs. Nah, just awkwardly keep it in there. But, thank you for listening this week. I'm going to talk a lot about wrestling because just a lot of wrestling is happening this week and next week. But I will tell you when Paleo Radio will be on. I doubt it will be next week, probably the week after. But I'm not making any promises on that. But yeah, thank you. And any last thing you want to say to make everybody laugh? Oh, wait, no. I did have one more thing that I'm going to close the show with. Aki found a new anime, but he only watched like one episode. And then never watched it again. Because what the fuck, what was he watching?
What is it?
I forget what it's called, but it's a mech fighting anime where the robots give you orgasms.
Okay.
Night, everybody. So, in other words, it was pretty much G Gundam. Ba-da-ba-da-da-ba-ba.